So, as I said earlier, everyone is a storyteller. Maybe you're wondering, where am I going to go with that? I don't even know myself. But I took some notes, and I'm going to try and put some sort of a story together for you. Because, like I said, everyone's a storyteller. I'm going to try and tell a story. So, what I think is we all start as storytellers. As little kids, we start as storytellers. We want to draw. We want to use our imagination, ask questions. And the problem is, we end up asking questions, and who knows why. Maybe the kids around had too much sugar that day, and they're like, Billy, you're a dumbass. Why are you asking those questions? Or maybe the teacher doesn't actually know and says, oh, don't worry about it, just do this the way that you're supposed to. So we end up not wanting to ask questions anymore because we're afraid of ridicule, or maybe we saw somebody else ridiculed and we don't want that to happen to us. So it seems like we're following this path through life where we're expected to fit into some sort of mold. So we have a routine where we wake up, we work, we eat, we sleep. This is, I didn't make this is from SpongeBob. He's a popular cartoon show for children. But even in cartoon shows, they show, it's just no. Everybody goes through this routine. And what I want is for people to question their routine. Why do we do this? Why don't we give impromptu? No, you don't have to stop it.
It will stop automatically.
But
now I started again.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay. So, I think creativity is a lot like riding a bicycle. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, I think that you should combine creativity with work. You should put in fun stuff into your presentations, or put fun stuff into your reports. Don't just make them a wall of text. Do something a little more interesting. Okay, so question procedures. Let me show you my next page. It might be, here we go. Question procedures. I always wondered, why is it that we need to look so serious in our IDs? Well, okay, maybe there are some good reasons. If you are doing, or if you want people to really recognize you, maybe they wouldn't recognize somebody who looks so crazy in a picture. But I say, why not try something different? Now let me go back to, here we go. So question the procedures that we do. Because what made sense 100 years ago, 40 years ago, 10 years ago, may not make sense today. So we all, at one point, were, what if Galileo hadn't questioned that the Earth was the center of the universe? Or what if the French hadn't questioned, why do we have a king? You know, maybe they would still have a king. I don't know. Spending all their money for something. This is nothing to do with Belgium, of course. I'm just saying. Those are things people question, because there's a lot of things we do that maybe we don't know the answers to. Maybe we're not sure why we do it. Now, how can we be creative? Well, let's say I have a project that I'm working on, and my manager comes to me and says, Colin, I need you to be creative. I need you to show me something different. But you can't just tell someone to be innovative. So what can you do? What you can do is just a suggestion. You could come up with 40 ideas. You could just sit down, write down 40 ideas. Now, they could be absolute crap. They may not be anything. But one out of those 40 may be something useful. So you take these 40 ideas to your manager, and he looks at them and he says, well, Colin, every one of these ideas is total crap. But I look at your number 15 here, and that makes me think of something else. So maybe you don't have anything really that great right away, but it could inspire somebody else. I think you need to be open with your ideas. For instance, the application programs I was showing you. I was talking with my manager, and she was interested in making some applications, and I said, hey, maybe I could help. And I threw something together and showed it to her, and she was excited about it. And if I had kept my ideas to myself, maybe I wouldn't be here today, making you sit through this. I think you need to be confident in what you do, but not overconfident. As an example of overconfidence, I was speaking with some friends at a market in Brussels, and the subject about geography came up. And somebody said, talking about some continents, and they said, hey, there's only 6 continents in the world. And I said, no, sir, you are incorrect. There are actually 7 continents in the world. I'm just curious, what does the crowd think here? You think there's 6, 7, 5?
America is just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you picked the Panama Isthmus to divide America in two.
Hampton. Just a number. 6. Sylvester. 6. Okay. Yuri. Who said that? Tanya and Felicia. Both say 7. So I was convinced. I said, there is no way that there's only 6 continents. I know, I went to school, I know my geography. There are definitely 7 continents in the world. So I was so confident that I said, I will bet you 1,000 euros, right? Which is a lot of money to me, right? Maybe not to some people, but it's a lot of money to me. And I said, I bet you 1,000 euros there are 7 continents. So we do some research, pull out the phones. It's revealed there's 6 continents. I was aghast. What is this? This is not true. But I went home and I looked it up, and it turns out that there are 7 continents, there are 6 continents, there are 5 continents. The problem is that the number of continents, the continent is not well defined. So it's taught differently in different regions of the world. But I was certain that there were 7 continents. So I was overconfident. And what happened was, I was so overconfident that I just shut my mind off to hearing any other reason. And what I should have done was say, why are my good friends, who I think are intelligent, telling me that there are 6 continents? I don't understand this. But I didn't think that. I just thought, there's definitely 7, these people are dumb. But I should have questioned myself. I should have said, why? Why are they saying this? And then maybe I would have thought, oh, okay, there's different definitions or whatever reason. I could have thought of something. But instead I was so confident that I just shut off my mind, and I wasn't critical of my own thoughts. I wasn't critical about what I'm doing. So you have to be confident in what you do. You have to know what you're doing, but at the same time, be willing to accept criticism, which in that example I wasn't. You have to remember that everybody has a different perspective. So before I moved to Brussels, Belgium, which is in Belgium, a friend of mine told me, man, that's unfortunate for you, because Brussels really sucks. And I was thinking, wow, because I had never visited Brussels. I had never visited Belgium. And I was thinking, oh man, I'm going to go live in Brussels for 2 or 3 years and the place sucks. That's terrible. But I didn't realize at the time that my friend, he had his own perspective, he had his own ideas of Brussels. And it turns out I come to Brussels and it takes me just a couple days and I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Brussels is actually pretty cool. I like it here, there's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of fun people. Maybe there's some trash on the ground here and there or some poop, but that's Brussels, it's its character. And I call my friend back and I say, what are you talking about? Brussels is really a great place. And it turns out that he was going through a rough time with his spouse and a rough time at work, and he was on vacation, and this attitude, that he brought with him to Brussels reflected onto the city, and it turns out that he didn't like it as much. But that was just his perspective. But I went in thinking, oh no, where am I going to be living? I hope I'm not shot or something. But it turns out that's not it. So whenever somebody tells you, oh man, your work is terrible, maybe they don't say that, or maybe they say your work is great. You just have to remember they have their own agenda, and maybe they have different reasons for saying this is good or bad. What you need to do is, what I suggest you do is question why they say that, not just accept what they say. I should have questioned why did my friend think it's not that great in Brussels. But instead, I just took his word for it. All right, another suggestion I have is when you have a difficult project or you need to write a report and you're sitting there with a blank piece of paper or a blank presentation and you don't know where to start, you just have to start writing. It doesn't really matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's in order. It doesn't matter if you're starting at the beginning and going all through the end. You can write the middle part. You just need to write. And then once you have something written, then you can go back and you can say, hey, I should put this there or this there. And at least you have some ideas to start with. And that's a good way to get going. Like for instance, this presentation. I decided to go with a very standard, a very plain white background because I want you to focus on me, not on what I write here. So I only have about 40 more of these, okay? Don't worry. So this point, embrace emotion. I think that I would suggest that when you're going through a difficult time or a great time, to really step back and accept, hey, this is a great time or this is a bad time. Because every other moment in your life is just the baseline. It's just normal life. But whenever you have a really happy moment, I think you should step back and say, wow, this is really a great moment. Or whenever you have a sad moment, don't try and run from it. Don't try and hide from it. Or an awkward moment, like right now. Don't say, oh man, this is awkward, and then shy away. You have to embrace it. Feel that emotion. Really feel it. Because then you can appreciate when you do have those happy moments. You can appreciate when you're not standing in front of 30 people that are judging you. Because then it makes you appreciate what's going on. Talk to everyone. Now, maybe this doesn't work for everybody. Of course, I can't say that any of these will work for any of you. I don't know. They're just suggestions, of course. But I say talk to everyone because, like for instance, I showed you the work that I did for P&G. I didn't have to show you that, but I was thinking maybe you could use that information. I could take a fruit juicer to any of you and say, what do I do with this? And you would say, I don't know. What do I do with that? Nothing. But if I take it to somebody who makes juice, they would be like, wow, that is great. But I may have to talk to 100 people before I get to that one person that says, man, what a great invention. So I suggest to not be afraid, but to talk to everybody. So when you have a presentation, don't just put your information on the slides, because anybody could read slides. They don't need that. Or they could read a document. If that's what you want, you could just give a document to everybody. I say put a little bit of information on the slides, and it makes people curious. And they're like, what's he talking about? Why would he just be a storyteller? That's strange. I want to know why. I think that's it for my list. But I do want to say, just because you can't dance doesn't mean you shouldn't dance. And that's a quote from alcohol. Why do I put that? This is again questioning why we do the things we do. And it's true, I think maybe most people know that when you have some alcohol in your system, you tend to lose some of the inhibitions, and you're willing to explore more. But what I do is I just walk around drunk all the time. And I just walk around like I've had something to drink, but I haven't really, or maybe I have. We've seen this already. Oh, okay. This is my final slide. I don't know if I've taken enough time. 30 minutes, not bad. So, this is it's a boat. I just wanted to share a couple of quotes. I had so many quotes, but there's only so many because you get quote overload, right? There's just too much, and really, what good are they if you don't apply them to something? So, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not why it was made. And nobody asked me to give this presentation, but I did it anyway. And I did it because I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to go test the waves. And again, another boat quote. I love sailing. Love seas make good sailors. So you really have to test yourself and get out there. That's it. That's it. That's all I have. So, also, this is my last week. I don't know if I told everybody. Friday's my last day. So, does anybody have any questions? I mean, any questions at all? Okay.
What do you do next?
What do I do next? That's a good question. I should have put that in there.
You already told me though.
But I like the question because I forgot to put that in there. So, what do I do next? I am moving to Houston, Texas. I showed you a map before, in case you're not familiar. And I will be doing some consulting work with a computer programming company that specializes in engineering software. But I do want to extend an invitation to everybody here, anybody here, if you happen to be in Texas, or Texas, Houston, or anywhere, Mexico, whatever, somewhere in that area, and you want to stop by, I will buy you the first drink, and then you have to buy the second one. I'll buy all the drinks. But, or if you need a place to stay, you're welcome to. Nothing's happening. Oh, man. Okay. So I don't expect any of you to write that down, but it's pretty easy to remember. Dr. VR, C for Colin, Stern for Stern, at Gmail. Any other questions? That was a very good one, Kelly.
Thank you.
You know, I was thinking,
It's just
What are your 7 continents?
what are the 7 continents?
Your 7 continents.
That's very good. The number of continents taught in most of the English-speaking world, according to Wikipedia, and as far as I know, are Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica, North America, South America.
Houston?
and then wherever I am. Huh?
Americans.
And then the Americas are split between North and South, according to certain parts of the world. Other parts of the world may say Europe and Asia are one continent.
yeah. When does the spring start to you?
When does the spring start?
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
Applicable to Brussels.
Spring is actually the start is the equinox. The equinox is the day when there is exactly 12 hours of night and 12 hours of day.
Not according to the Russian
That's
schools.
English.
So that day is different slightly
1st of March.
for each region, off by just 1 or 2 days. But typically it's March 21st or 22nd.
Yeah. So I had the same discussion with my ex. She was Russian, and apparently it starts on the 1st of March.
Oh.
And that's what they teach in school.
Oh.
So don't bet another €1,000 on that.
Okay. All right. Again, I learned a very valuable lesson. I lost €1,000 that day. So
No.
painful.
Waiting.
Anybody else have a question? I'm certain that Yuri has a question. Yuri?
I'm trying to think of something to bet you on.
You can ask anything from any subject. Anything. Nels, do you have a question?
I'm trying to make a good one.
Okay.
Give me 5 minutes.
I should have prepared you at the beginning.
I have a question.
Yes,
When
Emily.
When is the next beer pong barbecue?
The next barbecue,
Beer pong barbecue.
beer pong barbecue. I hope to have a beer pong barbecue within the next coming weeks. Hopefully the weather will be good. But again, everybody is invited. I don't want it to seem like I just invite everybody, but everybody in here. Don't tell anybody else. It's very exclusive. So, probably the last week of May, to be specific. Yes, Alexandra? Were you going to say something?
Thank you for this opportunity. Well, I think for the feedback, I would like to congratulate you basically for just standing in front of us and making up this talk. I think it takes a lot of guts to just do it, to give like a visionary talk. I mean, it's not that we usually do that, so
Yeah, that's true.
thank you for trying. Appreciate it.
I think it's, yes, trying. This is the first time I've given this talk, which you may not notice based on how well I delivered it. But I guarantee you it's not the last time. Now, maybe the next time I give it, it will only be in front of 2 people because I won't be able to find the audience. But I'm going to keep giving it because this is something I'm interested in. So I say you go out and you try it. But I'll continue since there's no other questions. I like how you said that it takes guts. Now, why is it takes guts? I think this goes back to what I was saying before, that when you're going through school, you're discouraged almost to ask questions. You say, teacher, why is 2 + 2 = 4? Well, she's like, it just is. This is the formula. You follow the formula. Or why do I need to conjugate my verbs and have gerunds in there? I don't even know what a gerund is, right? But you follow these rules because that's how you get through your curriculum. But then by the end of your schooling, you forget to ask questions. And you forget to put yourself out there. You forget to have guts. I don't think it takes that much guts because once I leave this room and you leave this room, maybe you have a lower opinion of me Or maybe not, I don't know. But life will go on. All right. Somebody else?
Did your vision about Europe change since you moved here?
Absolutely. That is a good question. I may have to come back to that because I would like to give some examples of how my vision changed. I do think that coming from the US, and I also feel people coming from Europe or anywhere, you always have a different viewpoint. So in the US, a lot of Europe is glamorized. It's like, wow, Europe is so cool, let's go live there, let's go do stuff there. And maybe in Europe, the same is said about the US. Oh man, the US is great, let's go live there. Let's go do some fun stuff. But maybe not, maybe that's not true. But what I did notice is that really people are all about the same. There's not that much difference. I mean, maybe the cultures are different. We do things a little differently. But in the end, I think everybody wants the same thing. So, yes, my opinion of Europe changed because I thought everybody here was still living in caves. I was pleasantly surprised. Yes, Nicola?
Well, for you.
Jan?
What about this quote from the harbor and the ship and stuff? Is that Colin's quote or would you?
Where did the quote come from?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question.
I read it today in the office. There's a big poster near the FE
Yeah?
with exactly the same quote.
Really? Which one?
The first one, the
Oh, yeah, this one?
boat in the harbor, the ship is safe in the harbor.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah. So,
Answer the question before giving some hints.
I would hope that you've seen these, but because I didn't want you to think I came up with these. These are quotes that I've taken from somewhere else, but I'm not sure who originally coined this quote. But just for a little bit of fun, maybe we can look at some quotes. So I've been compiling some quotes. Oh, great. I have 9 minutes left, so let's squeeze it in, guys. Boring. What is that? Brief thinking. Man, Mark Twain really had some good stuff, huh?
Colin, I have a quote for you.
Please.
I was at a presentation 10 days ago at my university, and it's, if you can't dance good, dance hard. Which
Very
actually,
good.
I
You know,
think-
that was something I wanted to include, but I didn't. Was I think Einstein said it. Was maybe it was innovation. Innovation is 99% perspiration and 1% innovation, or maybe it was ideas. So, again, your quote. You just work really hard. As long as you put one foot in front of the other, then you'll succeed. So maybe for the next time I give this presentation, I will bill it as a motivational speech. And I'll label it, if you want it, take it. So, anybody else? Supriya?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Felicia?
Did you manage to meet a friend at the Roman Brussels or rubbish?
I did not manage to because he doesn't want to come back. And I'm sure he probably has, he probably thinks I'm a little biased. But no, I don't talk to him anymore anyway. He's too close-minded for me. Ray, do you have anything? No. I'm going to go around the room. Until
I have a question actually.
yes, Jan.
In the first slide, I think you were talking about your life and where you have been living,
Yeah.
and moving from states to countries and stuff. And then you just mentioned that everything before Belgium was unimportant. So what I'm getting to is, what about your wife to be? I mean, you met her in Belgium, or you met her before, or what's the deal there?
Well, it was a bit of hyperbole. I was just kidding. Of course, my life before Belgium was very important. I think that's made me who I am today. So I could go into more detail about my previous life, but I didn't want to spend a lot on that when I had so much more better material to talk about. But since you ask, I will show you one more thing. Who is Colin?
Wow, how many versions
I
do
don't
you
know how
have?
this was already prepared. Okay, new hit, you know all about that. Actually, I made this for one of my managers. Boring, some Python stuff. Here we go. I like to travel. So far, since I've been in Europe, I have increased the number of continents I've been on, which we'll say that there's just 6, okay, to make it easier for the Europeans. So since there's only 6, I have increased my number of continents double.
So from 1 to...
From 2 to 4. So before I moved to Belgium, I'd only been on the American continent and the European continent. And since I have visited 19 countries and 2 other continents. And here are a couple of pictures.
Is that your private brewery or something?
My private brewery. No, this was in the lab when I was in grad school. I was just doing some fun stuff. I have a cat. I do karate, not really. I work on my car, that's true. I'm a pilot, and I like to sail, and snowboard, and skydive. So,
Was that rough seas up there? Or,
what's that?
a rough sea on that picture? The one
Oh
where you
yeah, that was a really rough day.
All right.
Thank you, Jan, for pointing that out.
How does the snowboarding picture end?
That's very intuitive of you. It ends with me on the ground. Actually, it ends with me holding my ass saying, ow, that hurts.
Never again.
Because I landed right on the edge of that box. But the picture I thought was pretty fun, so I put it in there. Anybody else have any questions? Really, the questions are the most fun for me because it's unknown. It's and it also lets me know what you're actually interested in. Well, I guess. Did anybody have anything else? Because we could end it. I mean, those who would like to leave, you can. I'm not going to hold you here. I could stay here all day. I booked the room until 6. So, as you wish, I will stand here and take all of your questions. Nice.
Yeah, just wondering if you were doing stupid stuff randomly like that, or if you had personal challenges like a bucket list of things to do. Is this the case?
Are you referring to the pictures, or are you referring to this talk?
I'm referring to Colin in general.
Colin in general. Colin in general. I don't really have a bucket list, no, but I do have things that I want to try. And I do like challenges. I like challenges. That's what puts me in the positions that I'm in. So that's why I'm here right now, because it was a challenge for me to actually do this. I know it may seem so easy, right? But for instance, I can juggle, and I can ride a unicycle, which is just a one-wheeled bicycle, and pilot and sailing, and I do these things just because I think, why I see other people doing them, why can't I do them? And I just try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's just what I do. Yeah. Very good question from everybody. Yes? Well, okay, I guess I'll end it there. So, I really miss everybody. It was fun. I hope you guys do make it to Texas. I doubt it. I don't even want to go there. So
Texas will be more open-minded, you think?
will it be more open-minded? No, I don't think so. Maybe I'll bring more open-mindedness. There was a study about coffee, and it was found that people who drink coffee are more likely to be more open-minded, more likely to be open-minded. And I think everybody knows that coffee does something to you, if maybe not to your brain, to your insides as well. And what they suggested about coffee and how it made people open-minded was they had a study of two groups, one group that doesn't drink coffee, one that does. And people that drank the coffee were more open-minded and listened to ideas. And the reason was because coffee activates your brain and it makes you think more, and you're more open to seeing a new viewpoint because you can analyze the facts better. So I really should have pumped everybody up with coffee before this.
So you're sure it's not a fake bias statistics like people with less hair have more money or something?
It could be bias statistics. Maybe they wanted this to be true, which is, again, you have to look at your own work. But if you would like to criticize it more, I can send you the link to the article.
Yeah, the link to that one is Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's our shop.
All right, well.